Good morning. Welcome back to the Brick by Brick podcast with Ronald Paulius, where we build our futures one brick at a time. Whether that's in real estate, personal growth, or just life itself, we're building the futures we want intentionally. Today, I want to dive into a quote by Jim Rohn. He said this: "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom. This quote, if you can grasp it, and if it can grasp you, is a paradigm shift. Don't wish was easier. Wish you were better. I think we humans have that natural tendency to wish things to be easier. I remember going to an after school program when I was in elementary, and I had my after school teacher hammer in us. I went there for probably 3 years. Hammer in us the need for us to do our timetables. The program was structured such that when we got there, we immediately did our homework and got the help we needed if we needed any. And then we immediately had to do our timetables after. And those were the things that had to be done before we had free time and could play solitary with a friend or just chat. And I remember the first couple years, my timetables were up to 12. And this is my first time doing it, at least to that extent. And I remember the learning process. I remember some of it. It was unfamiliar and it was tedious. But after a while, I got used to it and kept going. Then I entered into the 5th grade, and we had to do timetables up to 15. And that was a curveball for me because I've only done it up to 12, and I had to learn a whole new set of numbers and how they add up after you times them and just all these things. And there was that tension at first of, I want to just use a calculator. This guy did not allow us to use calculators. We had to use an extra sheet of paper, do it by hand or do it in our mind. We couldn't use a calculator. He wanted this etched into our memory. And I reflected a little bit on my drive to where I podcast here this morning. And I thought to myself, that skill, though it was difficult to get a hold of and difficult to cultivate, has served me plentiful. I am multiplying things in my head all the time. One, because I had to do it on paper and I know how to get to the answer. Then 2, I remember it. 9 times 9, 81. And so don't wish were easier, wish you were better. I think the natural tendency for us to shy away and retreat from the difficult things and the hard things is something we always have to fight against. And the reason for that is we would prefer things to be smooth. And there's a dissonance that happens when we think, or when we are up against something that's not smooth. It's like, oh, I gotta learn 13s and 14s and 15s timetables. That's not normal. The amazing thing is, if you do it long enough, it becomes normal, and you get used to it. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Rise up to the occasion. Don't wish the occasion to level down to where you're at. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. The shift there is every time you encounter a problem, a mountain, an issue, think to yourself, this is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to learn something new. So many people allow the first set of problems when they're building, the first set of problems when they're on a new journey, the first set of problems when they're reaching towards their goals, to push them back into the back seat. They allow problems to be a stop sign rather than allowing them to be a speed bump. Because the reality is, while you are building that future brick by brick, while you're driving towards those goals, there will be things that slow you down. I remember when I was starting in real estate, I had to learn how to write up a purchase agreement, what it entailed, what was needed, what was not needed. That's a first thing. One of the first things you got to know, because if someone says, yeah, I'll sell my house to you, and it's like, well, do we just shake hands and go to the title company? No. You need to figure out how to fill out the purchase agreement with all the right terms and all the right verbiage, so that I, as a buyer, am protected and the seller is protected. And this mutual legally binding agreement that we've agreed on, it is sent over to title, and title understands and knows, okay, awesome. This is what's happening with this piece of property. That was one of the first few speed bumps I ran into. And you know what I did? I went on YouTube and I looked up walking through a purchase agreement, walking a seller through a purchase agreement, how to write one up. In fact, things are so easy now. I purchased one. And as I grew and learned more and eventually joined Sub 2, Pace Morby, an amazing go-giver, has given his community the Sub 2 purchase agreements he uses. And I just use those. His attorney has looked over them. I've looked at them. Awesome. And it's worked several times. Instead of letting those problems and those hiccups and those moments where you really don't know what to do next, instead of letting them be stop signs where you are stopped indefinitely, allow them to be speed bumps. So, okay, I'm going to slow down here, but once I get over this hump, I'm going to let my momentum kick back up and keep going. Let my speed kick back up and keep going. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. And don't wish for less challenges. Wish for more wisdom. Are you a resourceful person? If you don't know how to solve a problem, how do you go about figuring that out? I remember on one of the deals we were working, one of the families we were helping, we, for the first time, came across this issue. A loved one passed away, and the heirs did not start probate yet. And so we ran across a problem. They wanted to sell. They couldn't sell the house legally, not at that moment. And we needed a probate lawyer. And so we scurried and searched and got recommendations for several probate lawyers, emailed a bunch. One emailed back, and so we concluded this person actually wants our business. And it turned out that person is the best probate lawyer we've used. He's gotten probably, I think, about 5 of our deals to closing, where he got the estate settled and got the heirs the permission they needed to be able to sell the property that they were wanting to get rid of anyways. We paid for it. Everyone is happy, and that problem is now solved. You see, when you acquire wisdom, when you acquire skills, you have them for the rest of your life. Now, we're able to use a resource we were able to find. We are able to use a solution for the first problem we had several times. We had that first problem. Oh, we needed a probate lawyer. And then we ran into 4 other situations where we needed the same solution, a probate lawyer. And he worked it out. While you're building brick by brick, don't be surprised when problems and challenges come your way. In fact, expect them. If you didn't get challenges, if you weren't facing hurdles, if speed bumps didn't align themselves on your path, then I'd be questioning why. I wouldn't be too quick to say, awesome, no tension. Awesome, no problems. Awesome, no speed bumps. Because that tells me you've just taken the smooth and easy path. That just tells me I've taken the easy and smooth path. When in reality, it is those paths that are lined with difficulty. It's those mountains with many valleys between each climb that we need to upgrade, to rise, to develop into the type of person we need to become as we build our futures brick by brick. Are you resourceful? Are you acquiring skills? Are you acquiring wisdom? Are you getting better? There is no neutral position in this life. And what I mean by that is you are either growing and developing as a person or you're lagging behind. The reference is your goals. If you're not striving towards them, if you're not making progress towards them, then you're slowly drifting away from them. And the reason for that is that neutral spot is it's a mirage. It's fake. It's something we wish was real, but it's not. Because every single day you're literally aging, you're literally growing. And if you're not taking the time to develop and grow as a person, to acquire skills and wisdom, then you'll find it much harder to make it towards your goals and your dreams. The amazing thing is, as Jim Rohn has said, you're not a tree. You're not stuck where you are indefinitely. Uproot yourself and build a new future, brick by brick. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. What are you doing this week to lay another brick in the future you're wanting to build?